On behalf of the U.S. Postal Service, I am pleased to present our new Forever stamp commemorating the Underground Railroad, the secret network of individuals who helped thousands of slaves escape to freedom before the Civil War ended in 1865. The flight to freedom was difficult and exceedingly dangerous, and sometimes occurred just ahead of slave hunters. The Underground Railroad was supported by ordinary people, including free blacks from both the North and the South, and some religious groups, especially the African Methodist Episcopal and Quaker denominations, as well as abolitionists in the North and Native Americans in the Midwest. The Underground Railroad stamps recognize the courage of the people who resisted slavery. Most remained anonymous, but some left their mark on history. With these stamps, we honor these men and women, including Frederick Douglass, Laura Haviland, Lewis Hayden, and perhaps the most courageous of all, Harriet Tubman. And now we are pleased to present the Underground Railroad Forever stamps.
This amazing network that was operating at the time particularly in the South, within enslaved and free Black communities. And the core of that network were Black mariners. And if people remember, in the 1850s, most fast travel went by water. And so those Black mariners were key to conveying messages back and forth to people who had been separated, who lived far apart. They also carried news of what was happening around the world. They carried the news of freedom that was elsewhere. So Harriet Tubman tapped into that network.
The main period of its operation is the 1830s through the outbreak of the Civil War. In the big cities, these organizations were often tied to publications, anti-slavery presses, and those papers, such as William Lloyd Garrison's The Liberator or Frederick Douglass's North Star paper, were really the calling cards of the abolitionist movement. And people subscribed to them across the country, so they knew what was happening through a common source, which was the news.
In spite of its name, the Underground Railroad didn't use trains, cabooses, or tracks. It was a resistance movement against slavery through flight. Agents planned the trips, conductors led the trips, and station masters maintained their stations to allow people to come through and get food and feel comfortable. On Tubman's final journey, she rescued the Ennals family, and it was a blinding snowstorm, and she didn't have a coat, she didn't have shoes, she didn't have the protection that we have today, and she just sat up against the trunk of a tree and endured cold and wind and snow. And then the next day, she woke up and did her mission, and she emancipated the Ennals family.
We hope the Underground Railroad stamps will inspire you to learn more about this important part of our nation's history. They're available now at USPS.com and post offices nationwide.
Whoa.